player yang lumayan cukup berkualitas juga di sini. Yang aku ingat kemarin juga lumayan cukup sedih yang kita jauh-jauh dari Indonesia terus ke Riyadh cuman buat kita pulang pertama. Jadi nggak mau pulang pertama lagi, kita pengen sampai turnamennya selesai.
It's better than the Onyx teams of the past from Indonesia that just dominated. This time they were tested, they struggled, they rose above that, and I think that just makes better teams.
Bekerja keras juga untuk menangin turnamen ini. Jadi yang pastinya saya pengen juara di season ini, yang terbaik terus.
That was Gilang Sanz as the focal point there. Of course, we saw the one from JFU earlier where the focal point was the mid laner in OP. And it's good now that, funnily enough, we focus on the mid laners in terms of talking about the road to EWC, talking about the potential draft happenings for this game number 3. Gideon, you mentioned something to me about a mid lane priority matchup here because Zetian hasn't been doing that great so far this series.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to take it away from either one of these mid laners. They are good at what they do, but Zetian just doesn't seem to be the right answer in a majority of these cases, right? We've seen that so far in terms of her raw pushing power, especially in the early game, is kind of okay. You would like to use that more to trade against your opponents.
Yeah.
I think that Farsa might just be opened up in just a little bit. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. We're not spicing things up. We're just resetting it back down. It's a BO1 right now, and CFU kick things off with a fanny ban naturally.
And they're still on the blue side.
Still on the blue
So
side.
they still want to go for that. That's fine, I guess. But like you guys mentioned, I think for the most part, Onyx has figured out how to adjust throughout this draft. I mean, we'll see if we still see similar bans from them. They let the R-Lot go earlier, game 1. They ended up banning them out. This time around, like you said, it's still the Fanny and the Lancelot. So, I don't know, is priority, like, do we still think that CFU is actually going to priority Boxy here, or do they switch things up? Because there's the Earnest ban.
Yeah, I think a slight switch up. Oh, I thought they would somehow consider opening up the option of so that she can reposition a little bit. If she could somehow pair that up with Flicker, if it's available for her, that would actually be really great. That it might force out some early engagements. You called it again.
Yep.
Nice. There's the Kimmy. And yeah, they do switch things up in terms of what they pair up with the Fredrin. Also going on with what Gideon mentioned with the mid lane pick for CFU. They get the Kimmy to pair up with the Fredrin together. And that means they can still continue the style that they've been playing without changing things too drastically.
Yeah, that's one of the main points I would expect from CFU, because again, you know, some of the pieces of the puzzle that they showed us in game 1 where they just won so dominantly, it was on the fact that they had the Kimmy that really helped things out. But I still think you have to see what the last 2 picks are going to be for them to make sure that they have, you know, the damage profile there, the options of to follow through, even if they work against 2 Purifies, for example, from Onyx. You can see this though coming through finally is the CC. So that's going to be a pickup, which is again it's a popular pickup. It's a signature here, I would say, for Mlbb.
Yeah, and it's a good interplay of crowd control layering between the CC and the Badang. But the Badang doesn't always necessarily need to front. You can send Lutpi to front instead, have Kiboy go for the follow-up, and vice versa. And so now CFU has another layer of, we have 2 great tempo breakers on the other side, and we're playing around the very sort of slow-moving composition around the Fredrin. This CC pickup is massive for Onyx, and it might be the main X Factor pick right now that CFU has to consider.
With all the adjustments that have had within this first phase, right, a lot of it just boils down to just changing the order of what we pick. And I think it's a good idea, right? But the question now boils down to how many people are going to take the Purify, right? Are we expecting CC to take Vengeance this time, or is she going to go for the Purify to try and protect herself specifically from getting picked off? Because keep in mind, a lot of the previous fights that we saw in game number 2, both Kiboy and as well as Loki were priority targets for Wadu when he was on Arlo, or sometimes if they're out of position, and that's when Boxy picks him up.
Yeah. We also have to consider that maybe Detective would want to be a little bit more careful with when he's going to dish out the appraisers for us, because if he's not careful, he might just eat a whole bunch of reflective damage towards him if you have the Vengeance up on that CC right away. He'll be wondering, hey, I'm going to hit you back. That hurt me too.
Yeah, I think the other part for Detective, though, is not falling too far behind, like in terms of the levels, because that seemed to be one of the issues that they had in the previous game, and what made them too just kind of choose that, you know what, let's just brawl it out, let's just fight it out, because we don't want to go for the retribution battle here. So maybe part of that plan, part of that equation for them as we get through this last phase of these bans is allowing Detective to not fall too far behind. And maybe part of that too was Onyx just got those early kills in the early portion of the game that allowed Kyrie again to go ahead and scale up quickly.
Fourth pick. I think, yeah, this Madame is, mid lane, and gold now is what we're going to be looking at in terms of the carries. Should Onyx just try to go for a little bit more reach?
I think. I want to go for a little bit of reach. I mean, talking about reach, this is one way of doing it. We haven't seen Aloyi in a hot second. I was curious to see what Sans wanted to do, especially when it comes down to the mid lane. Like, is this a scenario where you can actually play like a Chang'e? You're going to be playing, your traditional front to back anyway, so it kind of makes sense. But I think with Aloyi, very team fight oriented. But the recent nerfs is why a lot of people have kind of moved away. So I want to see how they're going to
Lou is
utilize
really bad this meta. He got nerfed really hard.
Because the thing about that, this feels like a team fight counter for CFU. Kaleas, especially Fredericks, do not like seeing the Aloy on the other side. Which means now Lutby, Safero should be free to pick up the things like the carry for their gold, and maybe even the Beatrix, which pair up very well with the Aloy.
Beatrix is good.
Shots come through. Hilda, Bruno on their side. I mean,
Bruno.
they want to go right into the faces of Onyx.
And like you guys mentioned, with Aloy over there, I don't know how this is going to completely play off. I mean, again, we haven't seen too much of Aloy previously in the recent weeks, but maybe again with this last pick, you're going up against Bruno. What do you take here? Do you go?
I think
I forgot Granger's still open,
Against
so why
Bruno.
not
Really?
give that into the hands
Okay,
of
that's a
Safero
very
again?
bad pick.
Not surprised with the way that they played it. I do kind of wish that Bruno was switched out for Beatrix.
All right, I just want to get your I wish that there was another consideration for the Bruno, but let's see what happens there. Real quick, Gideon, who are you leaning towards for this one?
Honestly, I feel like the execution for the side of CFU is slightly easier, and I'm going to lean more into their composition.
Nice.
I'm gonna go for Onyx.
All right.
I don't want to be opposite of Gideon.
All right, to the million plus watching right now, thank you. Let us witness
let's go, let's
together
go.
who will
Come
be
on, let's go.
facing Team Liquid in
on,
this
Onyx.
Group A at the 1-0 bracket. Will it be Onyx? Will it be CFU? Will it be Indonesia? Or will it be Cambodia?
Thanks, Ramon. We'll be bringing that sentiment into our upcoming game as we head on over into the land of
Let's go,
gods.
guys.
Millions of viewers out there, welcome. This is match point currently for both of our squads. It is CFU on the blue side facing off against Onyx Indonesia on the red side. Once again, both teams refuse to switch sides. There are no traders, only warriors as they battle it out on first. Starting off with the purple buff. No surprises there. But I really wish that, the Bruno was switched out for a Beatrix. There's just so
Beatrix
many
is
ways
better.
to get value out of the Beatrix. The raw burst damage, there's not a lot of sustain from the side of Onyx Indonesia. And even then, most of them are running with the flickers anyways.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because Beatrix just doesn't seem to be popping up much, in general, especially back in the professional leagues and the qualifiers leading all up here on the road to MSC. It just didn't seem to be one of those picks that people like to go for. The Bruno, though, on the other hand, I guess in a way, too, it kind of gives you a little bit of a...
Okay.
Hold on, already? Gonna jump in with Title Strike. Keyboy, though, is there to keep things safe. So you go ahead and just disengage from that. But still, I think the Bruno is just more of the lines of, you get a little bit of damage earlier on with the 2 items, still maybe the 3 that he needs. But I think, yeah, you need that later on, that Malefic gun that's going to be crucial in comparison to the Granger specifically, who has so much more range.
Yeah, I mean, they want their late game scaling, and I think that's the most important thing for them. With the crit build, it's just, the damage is through the roof. And they got to be careful, right? Because again, all these rotations are being read very well from both sides. They know they're going to be on the bottom side of the map. They want to unlock this Hilda. But even so, Wadu, it's a pretty dead lane for the most part. Lupti isn't able to manipulate the waves without the help of his team. And that's why Keyboy is here, right? If anything gets a little fishy, he can kind of neutralize the effect.
Yeah, that's what the Badang does so well. Goes ahead and messes with some of the tempo, and that's what Boxy really wants to do earlier on this Kalea. But the first turtle of the game is going to be up, so it's CFU getting in position. We see this time and time again, especially with the Fredrin. But they'll go ahead and check things out with the Mountain Shocker. They're just forced off.
That Hilda is
They just
annoying.
walk on up,
Yeah,
force
Hilda will be annoying.
CFU back.
Nice.
And Kyrie will go ahead and get the turtle, but still, Wadu now on the backside, looking for the first blood. They take a ton of damage. Double flickers on out
no
here
hits.
from CFU.
Nice.
Still, Kyrie,
Kyrie.
one shot won't land it on OP.
Okay, first bloods haven't been achieved. But I don't know if anybody realized that, but Sans did a very interesting move, and I think it messed with the minds of CFU, which is why they gave up so much space. And by the time they realized where Sans actually was, they couldn't take back the territory anymore. Looking at the emblem build so far, everything seems to be up to snuff, nothing too out of the ordinary. We do have common emblems being built up by Zing, not taking marksman emblems, and not even taking assassin emblems of his own. He's not looking to try and win the lane. He's trying to not only survive, but make sure that he has enough mana to stay relevant. The Master Assassin's always going to be a good time, especially if we see Severo make a mistake. In terms of everything else, the only thing is lethal ignition coming in from Sans. He is not going for impure rage. He wants to hurt.
Yeah, I guess you want to do that, especially with Aloy Yi, who dealt with some of the adjustments that she's gone through, but it was well deserved. Louis Yi and the chip for a while were on the top of some of the decisions, especially when it came to the macro play. But Wadu, not sure if he's going to be able to survive this. Not sure going to be used to. That's a whole lot of damage to go on through as Kyrie will pick up the first blood.
Really good punish here. Really good punish from the side of Onyx Indonesia. I mean, look shove out this wave super fast, and now that he's got that assist, he's got the lead, and more importantly, he's got the tempo. He can now start influencing the side lanes and rotating off first. Now notice, we do see that Boxy is coming down to try and push him out of
This
the
is
way,
game talk.
allowing Wadu to walk
come
back
on.
into the lane
1v1,
safely.
1v1.
Oh, he's
he's not
going
dead.
for the fight.
Oh,
no! He hit the minion!
whoa.
He flickered into the bush, but he hit the minion!
That's good.
Oh, that feels
hurts.
bad.
Oh, that hurts so much. And Severo, the best part, Severo didn't have any energy at
Yeah.
all. He didn't have any energy to Rhapsody. He didn't have any energy to throw out another Death Sonata. He just was auto-attacking until the very end.
All right, now, second turtle of the game, and you go up. Onyx getting pushed out of this one. Tsunami Slam to bring him into the turtle pit. They're going to go for the fight. Vengeance already been popped too, but Sans will be able to pick up Wadu. A double for Sans already, forcing him off. And Kyrie gets the turtle on top of it all. So Onyx will come out swinging for that objective.
And now the snowball starts to begin. The smaller mistakes coming in from CFU game and getting punished hard by Onyx Indonesia as they crack open the most valuable structure in the
I
game.
think they're gonna lose.
Tier
They lost the
1.
mid tower,
With
they're
that,
losing again.
we're starting to see what
They lost
CFU
two
did to
dollars.
Onyx ID in game number 2, but on the
graph is very
opposite
bad.
side, Onyx has
graph
the
is very
timings,
bad.
they got the tempo, and Luppi is in a phenomenal position right now.
He's flowing right now, man. I mean, a lot of the you said this because that's typical too. When CC gets a lead, even if it's a, let's say you're getting assists, but you have that lane advantage, even built up. I think Warax was the
1K
first
gold
item
you
that
don't
Luffy
use
went with.
Wow.
You kind of give yourself that positioning, especially around the objectives. I can just jump on in. Use my current comp of
Level 7
vengeance,
and level
do what
9.
I need to do,
Yeah, CC is
and then the
zoning
team
the
will
heck
go ahead
out
and
of
clean up
Hilda.
after that. And so Loopy's in a really good position to go ahead and provide that for the team. Meanwhile, too, if he's the target that gets Tsunami slammed, it's not that big of a deal for Onyx.
Yeah, and as long as he has that vengeance, right? Anybody with like quote unquote burst damage or consistent damage really starts
They're
to
going for
suffer.
the kill.
Foxy gonna go in once they can. Purify is gonna be used though. Sans is
move.
okay with saying, look at this. This is the battle. of the range that Onyx has
One
right
more,
now.
one more.
Severo so
That was too
close
close.
to getting another one with the Death Sonata. Keyboy now.
Keyboy's going for the kill.
Oh, he won't be able to
Keyboy
find Sing. We're going to force him off on the tier 2.
Severo.
Kyrie will go on in. Sans is there now as well. And Opie has to go back to base, but Severo will pick up Detective. 2 kills for Onyx.
Ooh, boy, this
from
game's
Onyx.
getting real spicy,
Very
and
game-
Onyx Indonesia are
very
making
disciplined
sure that
gameplay.
they're running away with this. A 4.6k lead, 6 minutes into the game, and they want to take a tier 2 alongside of it. If they do
Yeah, they
get
can
it,
get it.
they will turn this into a 5k
Come on,
lead.
come on.
Oh, Loopy
whoa,
wants to
whoa.
kill
He got
Sing,
caught,
but
yeah.
he wants the vengeance. Won't be enough, though. And they go ahead and get on out with the diversion. The turret, tier 2, still going to be able to stand, though, with about
They can't
a
contest
little bit of health
the
left.
turret,
But
of
this
course.
next
They
turtle
can't.
is Onyx for the taking.
Sans, despite most mid laners not wanting to play Loyi because of the new changes to that diversion, that it reveals
He's
the
really bad
starting
right now.
position but doesn't show your ending position. It gives too much info. So now he's using it as a mind game, if not a disengage tool. So what if you can see us? As long as the channel completes, my whole team can get on out of there. And the 2 other times that we've seen him use it, he does it in front of his opponents to keep them on their toes, to force them to double check the bushes that they had already cleared up earlier just in case.
That's why it's the perfect name for an ultimate map. It's literally a diversion, you know, and when Louis Yi is on play, you really have to stay on your toes. You really have to be able to lock in and, know how to play against this. So
you
right
can
now,
say-
Sans will take a shot. Also the mid lane, Wada
he
with
got caught
trouble.
again.
Kyrie's going to be able to pick up a kill in the
Severo,
jungle. Still going to
Severo.
be fighting. Severo gets enough movement, and he
Nice.
will survive anyway. So again, Onyx will be able to find 2 against CFU.
And that
He
is
used
a
to give me
econ
swing
diff.
right now.
That
They are
is
not
a
ganking
huge
him
econ diff. 5k now turning into a 6k lead. Honestly, if Onyx didn't have that 5k, Boxy probably would have been able to pick up Severo anyways. Wadu probably would have still died regardless, but even so, it's a very worth it trade for EXP and as well as gold. In this case though, Onyx currently 6 kills up on CFU Gaming, and they're now just waiting for the neutral objective. They're walking into enemy territory to deny
just
as
want the
much
Lord.
econ as
They're gonna
possible
wait for the
while
Lord.
still making sure that Kyrie has a very efficient path. 3-level lead, might I add, against Detective.
It's the same thing that I was saying, that we mentioned from the previous game.
Oh,
And even with that diversion, they
Diversion.
go in for it. They be able to find 2 bucks. He's gone, and Wadu to follow.
The
On
marksman
comes
is
through the
dead.
diversion, and Zing
The marksman
has
is
nowhere to go. He's going to just get run down. He's running for the
He's dead.
turret. Maybe I can get a little extra gold before I go down as he falls as well. Onyx in control, and they'll take the Lord.
Yep, and even Kyrie committing his
map
retribution,
control
knowing
is
that
very
once he
good from
dies, then he has nothing to worry about. There's no way
Yeah,
that
that's
Detective is
GG,
going to
right?
walk up and
GG.
try and steal
This
this from
game
me.
is GG.
Not with my entire team covering the entire map, making sure that this filter net
boy.
doesn't allow
boy.
CFU Gaming to take space.
boy.
The next target here is see if they can get some more resources before this push in with that Lord. Right now, they're staring down for CFU an 8,000 gold deficit to work against, and even with Keyboy's got the
Don't
flicker
go, don't
available.
go,
If they want to
don't
force
go,
a fight
you're
in the base,
dead,
they
you're
will.
dead.
Boxy taking a couple,
dead.
too many shots. A Loopy will go in to clean up after the Death Sonatas all land from Severo. But now looking for more, still with a numbers advantage. Onyx ready to possibly push into the
can't do
space
nothing here.
fully
They just need
here
to defend.
as Kyrie walks in with the Lord.
Maybe late game,
Onyx ID
but
are
I don't
clearly,
think it will
they
go
are
late
in the
game.
driver's seat. They have momentum on their side. No way.
Keyboy.
Keyboy jumps on into the base. He gets
Keyboy.
taken out. We're going to force the fight anyway.
The
Wants
Bruno
to be
is dead.
up, and Sing is gone. Severo's unleashed.
Nice.
Still
Come on.
trying to hold on.
Tsunami
Tsunami
slam.
slam. Be able to find Loopy. Loopy will fall. The base could be
Come
locked
on, come
up, but
on.
Wadu
Knock
going to be the next target. Severo
Nice.
still shooting off to the backside. Looking for Detective. They'll clean
It's a
out
cheap
the
way to defend.
lanes.
Oh my
But they
God.
still have minion waves
Yeah,
pushing
Vadu,
on
but
in.
they can defend it.
And that's going to be it. Detective jumps on
Aha,
in.
don't think
Severo will lock on, and Onyx will take the series
GG
2-1.
Onyx.
Hey, a little disrespectful coming in from Onyx at the very end. If they wanted to finish it, they could have, but instead they're like, no. We're bumping up the KDs real quick. We gotta show CFU. You may be our scrim partners, but we will not take this down while we're standing up.
What was a dream start for Onyx
for CFU in this series turned into a nightmare as Onyx slowly readjusted, recalibrated from the drafts to the execution to showing CFU, we have you read. Yes, don't fix what's not broken, but you have to change what's already been read by your opponent.
I think it's all about tempo, right? There's such a big tempo. Could have been his key moment right here. Zavero literally had nothing left. He had no energy. He got 3 auto attacks because of the fact that, oh, I hit a minion, I flickered into the bush, I still can't see you. And by the time I slide tackle it, it's too late.
Yeah, that's happened to me before, so I completely understand.
It happens to the best of us.
But yeah, nonetheless, I just think, Renmar really mentioned it. It was the adjustments that we saw Onyx made from not just the draft, because they were on red side all 3 games, but also just the way that they played around the map. They even utilized this time around the Louis was not picked up too much, but they played the macro really well here.
Yeah. Also, the difference in the EXP lane picks. You have a Hilda who has to literally run to the back line, find a good access point, while Mlbb, we were discussing this backstage, his job is so simple. Throws out the curtain call and yo-yo blitz, and that is it. The highlights will play out, but in just a moment, we're actually going to be hearing from Eterna, who is with Savero on the stage.
Thank you, casters. It's Eterna here with Savero. Okay, Savero, this was your first official Moonton international tournament. Now, how were you feeling? Did you feel pressure? Was there anything that was going on? Any jitters?
Buat Savero tentunya ini merupakan MSC pertama kamu ya. Jadi gimana perasaannya? Apakah ada sedikit gugup atau nervous mungkin?
Dikit doang. Ya mungkin karena masih awal-awal sih, perlu penyesuaian dulu.
I think maybe a little bit because as you said, this is my first time.
They are
As you said, this is my first time. But hopefully in the upcoming match, I will be much better.
Okay. I mean, you did really well, right? The laning phase with Sing as well. It was amazing.
Alright, let's play some game, right? Till they are talking. They're gonna talk for a long time, so let's play some games, okay? I will come back as soon as they are done talking. For some reason it's not working. Oh, YouTube should be moving actually, but it's not moving. Why is that? Yeah, it's not working like I want it to work. Anyways, let's play some game, right? After like 10 minutes I will go. Is that YouTube bar working, guys? Anyone who is watching my stream, is that working? Is that YouTube bar working or not? I have never used that YouTube bar, so yeah. Is it working or not? Because I don't think it's working, right? I don't see it moving. I wanted that to work so that I could let's do one roll. One roll and I go back again. Okay? Just one roll. Lagging. My phone is not lagging now. My phone is not good enough. What? Let's go.
Gideon, nice to hype the Spire 3, bouncing off. It's gonna be LaFell, Mirko, and Brigida coming in, so we'll see you in a bit. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Hit the ground and it go hard. Yeah, hit the ground and it go hard. Yeah, I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. Yeah, I hit the ground and it go hard. Yeah, they feel it's my time, think it's my. Virtus Pro joining Group A. It is going to be the Selangor Red Giants OG Esports.
I think we can win SRG if we perform well. I hope for 2-0 to choose the team after we qualify, but we'll see what happens. Who's the one that talking? Bruto? Who? I don't think 2-0 is possible for them, but I mean they're confident enough that we're more confident than them, so 2-0 will be on my side.
I think it will be a good match going up against them because they had a good wildcard run as well. So it's going to be an exciting match and we're well prepared against them.
Let's see later if they can 2-0 us.
So we already see Virtus Pro saying, hey, we can take down SRG 2-0. They look pretty calm, and SRG responded with calmness as well. So be careful what you wish for. Brigitte, do you think Virtus Pro, do you feel like they could do it?
I mean, part of me, and I feel like even for other talents, they feel like there is a chance that they actually show up.
Yep.
But whether or not they're able to win, maybe that might still be a question. But personally, after hearing what they had to say, this might as well be one of the matches of the day for me, personally.
Hey, everything is matches of the day, right? Now we're looking at Virtus Pro, and again, they are the champions of the wild card. So they had extra time here in Riyadh to get themselves comfortable compared to all the other teams. Is that going to be an advantage, or is it just going to be a non-factor?
I think it's a double-edged sword, right? Looking at it, obviously they have a little bit more time to experience the stage here in Riyadh to just sit and adapt to the weather and everything here in Riyadh, and also to the strats. We saw that in the wild card, they were very good at early game setups. Amazing when it comes down to getting control early and snowballing. But they do struggle into mid to late game, which I think is one of SRG's strengths.
No, that's true, because the thing about SRG is that they somehow keep losing the early, but come mid-game, talking to Remar as well, it seems to be the theme of the day where minute 6 to minute 8, that's like the crucial part. That's where you win or where you lose.
It's very, very crucial to win on the first. I would say Turtle 2, Turtle 3. Those are when the big fights start to happen. That's when the real snowball starts to happen. You win Turtle 1, I think a lot of times teams would actually just give it over now.
Yeah, although I'm starting to wonder on how the draft I'm starting to wonder on how the draft is actually going to pan out between these two teams, because I believe even the coaches have sort of some history between them already, and that's the thing. Like, they probably have somehow picked up a lot of the metas, especially ever since Wildcard, which, based on the first two matches we've seen today, don't differ that much, but Arcadia, even Fly Solo, okay, both of them, they're very adaptable and flexible coaches when it comes to that.
Yeah, but now we got to talk about Selangor Red Giants OG Esports, because the thing is, they looked okay at the start of MPL Malaysia, but then when Seb starts coming in, talking to players, they seem to have gotten stronger, but even I worry, are they just big fish in a small pond? Now seeing the world, will they finally start to lead?
Yeah, I think that narrative has already been shut down by themselves last MSC. They already showed the world what they could do. Yes, they dominated through MPL Malaysia, I think now 3 seasons in a row, 3-peat. But we know that they're kind of like a PSG in League One situation. You know, they're the only dominant team, but when they get to internationals, they perform.
Yeah, and they've done that 3-peat in MPL Malaysia, yes, but in MSC, there's yet to be a team who has actually completed a back-to-back record. And so that is another challenge for SRG OG if ever they do want to accomplish that this year.
Hey, you know what? It's a long name, I get it. But speaking of long, 10 years
years is a long time. And this is where we'd like to say thank you to you guys because Moonton got nominated for 3 different things. Publisher of the Decade, Game of the Decade, as well as M5 Live Event of the Decade. Make sure you guys go over to esportsawards.com/vote and vote for us because I gotta say, 10 years you guys have been supporting us. That's amazing. No wonder second match we already had over 1 million PCU viewers.
Yeah, we're gonna break that, I think, as we get on with the days. That was only match 2 of day 1. So very interested to see exactly how it plays out. Maybe one of the Virtus Pro wildcard matches, wildcard team matches can get all the way there. We've been seeing a lot of fans coming over from ECA.
If they got 2-0, that's... I don't want that, but that would be insane.
I don't know why, but it feels like it's been such a long time since we saw these teams, or I feel like I missed watching these teams probably because, again, we followed a different flow compared to last year's MSC. Like, MWI came in first before wildcard, so it's been a long break for Virtus Pro, but a much longer one for the teams preparing for the group stage.
I mean, here's the thing. There's a big patch. It's not one of those patches where you just change 1 or 2 heroes because everything changed. Even the timing for the buffs, and even though it's just a few seconds, but we know a few seconds could mean the world to the players. So SRG OG, they look strong, but they were strong in the previous patch. We do have to see how do they adjust. But Virtus Pro look more confident than I feel like all of us really thought it would be. So maybe behind the scenes, maybe they had training with SRG OG that made them feel like, they're not that big of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. I think Virtus Pro, again, they've had a lot of time to prepare to adapt to this new meta. They've actually played a whole mini tournament before this. And yeah, I guess we can talk a little bit more about that wild card because they were the dominant force, but I'm not too sure about what the level is there. If I'm being totally realistic here, I think it was quite far below the other teams here in the main stage.
Yeah, although I'd say the boot camp they had in the Philippines really did help, which leads me to another point, I guess, because the way Andoryu's playing in Virtus Pro now looks very comfortable, and some might even argue feels like a different or better version than when he was in Omega. So let's see how it pans for this one.
I mean, Brigida, if I know our fans, they all like to argue. So now we're going into the pick and banter. SRG OG will be first pick, Virtus Pro will be the second one. Interesting here, banning out the Phobia. So it does show that maybe they just want a team fight comp that just goes all over the place.
Yeah, this actually... it is a great setup for a lot of different picks here. The 1-1 obviously comes up to mind. I think another one would be an Arlet that we've been seeing a whole lot of plays from. Man, Sanford in match 1 on the TLPH versus Ultra Legends match. But they actually ban out the 1-1. So this leads me to believe that it's more of an Arlet setup.
Yeah, or maybe even like, I'm liking how we're starting to see the Farce again for the past 2 series, which is still available if ever they do want to opt for that. But like, last MSC, I think when we talk about Stormy, I think the picks that come to mind are more of the like Valentinas and all that. But we'll see because I don't think we saw that just yet for today.
Might bring in a Nana.
We did see that in the grand finals.
It's a Stormy special. All right, because here's the thing.
How did that work, by the way?
Okay, knowing Stormy, he's my boy, right? He's my boy.
One of 2 boys.
I have plenty, right? But here's the thing. Like, he's practiced time for all the heroes. He doesn't need all that much time, so it does expand his hero pool. And it just asks like, hey, what you want? Now, SRG OG, let's talk about this because I feel like the bans does show the draft. Betting out the Phobias, meaning you want a lot of dashes. Betting out the 1-1, maybe you just have a very heavy front line you don't want to get punished. But betting out the Arlet, because we thought that was the setup. And I'm looking at VP. I kind of feel like VP is just meta banning, betting out. I kind of feel like Fanny doesn't have to be banned, but, that's either here or there. And betting out the Uranus. What is the setup? What is going to be the first pick? Is it going to be the Farsight? Is it going to be the Kimi? What's going on here?
I think the Basher's still there too, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's a good job. I think right now for SRG, the plan is to take away as many early game Turtle 1 fighting heroes away from VP, knowing that VP are really good for fighting the first few neutral objectives. So take that away, SRG will have a smoother road to scaling to their own win conditions.
A lot of picks are open here.
Yeah, Baksha, Farsa. Kimi is also, I think, a pick that should be contested up against VP, who, again, from Pluto, we've only been seeing Kimi in the entirety of the wild card.
Yeah, even the Jujun, which was previously banned too, I think, might be considered later on for both of these teams. but they never mind. Immediately take it instead for first pick.
Hey, SRG, OG, they're living in their own world, for better or for worse. So now they're picking up the Jushin, which, if we're looking at the draft here, again, they're batting out heroes that can more or less counter the front line. So I'm thinking, I feel like everyone expected Skies to go back to previous MSC, the Lings, the Lancelots, maybe even the Alpha. But so now it's like, what? Is he gonna be playing a tank? Is he gonna be, the Fredrin, Akai, that kind of thing? But I don't know about the Akai, especially because they themselves banned art. I feel like that's the biggest question mark to think, like, what are they aiming for?
Yeah, that would be the good combo.
What wasn't like Sekai's at least just using the Fredrin in terms of utility heroes? Like recently, it was mostly just the Fredrins or the Suyos.
I mean, like, it's good. It's good. Like, I'm saying his Fredrin is good, but people are like, oh, your hero's
It's not Skies. Yeah,
it's not Skies.
Okay, so it's got the Kacha and a Lancelot. I actually didn't expect that. I thought with the Jusin picked up, they would go for a Baksha, they would go for maybe like a Kimi here. But I guess they're thinking, all right, Jusin was already picked up. There's no real reason for us to pick up the Kimi early, knowing that the mid lane's already there. It actually sets up for double carries in the first phase. It's a CC and Joy pickup for SRG.
Whoa.
This is very interesting. I haven't seen SRG draft like this in this patch, but this looks like they're drafting the previous patch.
Yeah.
No, because this is exactly their opener back in MPL, which is like what?
It's like an M6 draft too.
A month ago, at least.
And even if you pick like the Farsa here, wouldn't you be a little like uncomfortable considering that there's already a Joy in the lineup of SRG, or regardless?
I mean, Kimi.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, Kimi would be a safe choice, and they go for the safe choice there, VP. Again, Pluto, he's only really picked up Kimi for the most part. If it's not banned out, he will always go for it. Now we're going into the second phase where VP have a good shot at banning out the gold lanes. Now, they have first pick on red, so they can actually contest for the gold lane that's open to leave SRG with less heroes.
Yeah, but the thing is, knowing Innocent, he probably legit doesn't care. Legit doesn't care.
He's innocent.
Because this is a real thing that happened before, where they were discussing and they could not decide which goal laner to pick, and he's like, you know what, Clint. It's like I'm just gonna pick Clint and then I'll make it work, and he made it work.
Yeah.
So I think this is one of the advantages for SRGOG. They can delay the gold laner just because they have that trust in Innocent.
Yeah. Now they seem to acknowledge that and not ban any gold laners anymore. Though I'm wondering if this Gato...
There's a lot of frontline punishes.
Yeah.
What is their plan here? Because CC and Joy doesn't really scream, oh, we're so scared of our frontline. What hero is Yoon's going to be using?
Yeah, I think, again, for SRG, it's just them trying to play with their strengths, right? They are very, very good in the mid to late. They struggle sometimes in the early game, and that's why they're taking away as many centers, as many heroes that can force fights early on to get that lead, to get the snowballing going for VP.